someone who might be new, a novice in using artificial intelligence and wants to dip their toe in the water on how can they go about asking questions so that they get the maximum benefit out of using the tool? And I know that is a very general and broad question, but you deal with some people who just don't feel comfortable with technology and just don't know where to begin. And so what advice would you give somebody like that to make them comfortable?
I agree with Robert about iterating your questions and trying to make it better. So if you ask ChatGPT to create your post for your social network and create me an article with this information, as much more information you give it will bring you a better answer and a more shaped answer. Like for this audience, using this style of writing and put into those kind of informations that are important for me. And they're calling it prompt engineering, someone who is very good in making prompts for ChatGPT. And there are some tips about doing prompts, but what I have experienced is that usually when I'm trying to create something, I go to ChatGPT and I try to explain to ChatGPT what I'm creating, and it creates something out of it. And sometimes that changes my mind because I see some perspective that I wasn't expecting. And so I iterate and I come back to ChatGPT, include this thing and change this order. And so it creates a new version. And we start working as partners in creating some content. And that's very useful, not just for the creation of content, but for helping me to think about that. And a friend of me told me that unexpected benefit he got from ChatGPT is that he was trying so hard to create a very good prompt for ChatGPT that at the end of some time, when he created the perfect prompt, he didn't had to prompt anymore because he had all figured it out. So he had thought about everything that he needed. Right. So he said, "Oh, I become a good explainer because I have to explain to ChatGPT what I want." So as much more information you put and using those iterations, I think that those are good tips.
Right. And I think, to kind of go along with that, it's that, whenever you're using one of the AIs and you're asking it a question and you're getting a response, never accept the first answer that it gives you, right? Because as Fabricio mentioned, I mean, it becomes a bit of a creative process, right? You read this, and and it might sound good enough, but would I take this to an executive, or would I take this, so who is it that I'm going to be talking to? So include that audience information, in there. I mean, you mentioned something a moment ago, like give me some metadata to help my website with regards to SEO. But I mean, that in and of itself is probably fine, but you're going to get some pretty generic information. But if you gave it the context of who your target persona is, right? Who is it that you're trying to reach? What are the business titles? What are the groups? What are the demographics you're trying to reach? Then that SEO is going to change, right? The tags that it's going to give you are going to be completely different because now it's got more information to work with. Here's your generic response. This is what you asked for. Oh, you wanted it specific to cater to teenagers. Oh, well, in that case, here's what you should do. So the same thing, happens with you're writing a blog post, and same things happen with writing an article, a white paper, writing your resume.